Good evening. Nanda, that is a beautiful holding picture. A lovely picture to come to. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Just into the chat, guys. Would you please put what you're hoping for out of this evening's session? Energise your NYRO. Hello, Harriet. Lovely to see your smiley face. Natalie, are we doing this Zoom and then it's straight to sleep? You look really cozy. You look like you could just do that onto your pillow afterwards.
Oh, God.
Good. Harriet, I presume that's golden nuggets, not chicken nuggets. It's not very healthy, is it, really? I'll tell you a funny story. My friend, who I'm going to mention later, I spoke to her today and her freezer is broken. She was completely devastated, not by the fact that the freezer was broken, but her husband and teenage son had decided to cook all the pizzas and all the chicken nuggets and all the chips from the freezer, left all the meat to go off through the course of the day, but have cooked all the rubbish food. She was like, you can't plan for stupid, can you? Just brilliant. That's her little story of the day. Hello, Becky. Nice to see you there. Lorraine. I can see a shadow of Lorraine with headphones. You've got your silhouette, Lorraine, in front of a window. Hey, Hazel.
Hello. I'm just going to change my name because that's not my name.
That's not my name. You can do a little song if you like.
Feel free. I'm not singing.
Medium local, definitely not your name.
No.
That's better.
Hi, Paula.
Hi. Sorry.
Hello.
Took a while to get connected there.
No, it's fine.
Hi.
I thought I'd come on about 10 minutes early because then we just get to do all of this, don't we? I don't know if we've got a pen and a piece of paper with them. Because you never know, there might be something worth writing down. I can't guarantee it, but there might.
Scribble notes here. Yeah.
Ask me so many questions.
Right, so a feeble attempt in the chat. Ruth, that's very specific. So what I asked people for who just coming in into the chat, if you could just put down what you're hoping to get out of tonight. So when you saw Energise Your NYRO, did you think, oh, I hope she talks about X, or clearly not nuggets? And Ruth is going for the cautious option. Do you want to expand on that at all, Ruth? Or?
I haven't got a clue.
No, because I thought most of the things that were involved in energising were covered in the subsequent nights. So
Yeah.
I'm curious about tonight.
Ah, okay. So you want to feel excited and inspired to sell more NYRO, Nanda. That's a pretty nice objective. I like that. The reason I'm asking you this, guys, is I think, especially on Zoom, it's really easy to come to Zoom a bit passive and just be like, okay, well, I'll just kind of sit here and let it all waft over me. And it's a good idea to think, what do I want? Where are my itches? And I hope she scratches them.
Get excited.
So, inspiration and excitement, some golden nuggets, bring it back to life for Holly James. Holly, are you not alive enough, honey? Most of us could not eat a whole one. How do you need to be more alive?
What have I done?
You said you bring it back to life.
Yeah, bring my business back to life. I like it bringing back to life. Make it more lively.
I was going to say, it looks pretty alive to me.
I want it more alive.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
It's a kite.
Okay. Never mind. Hi, Josie. Hi, Josie. Hi, Louise. Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
Lucy Beckford here. Hooray. Debbie, you made it.
Hiya.
Hey, lovely to see you. Jane.
Hi.
Anne Webster. Oh, there's millions of you. My goodness. Let me just... Oh, look at that. Right, so what we're doing, guys, is putting into the chat, what do you want out of tonight? So to take away any passivity, I'm just going to rock up with a glass of wine, see what Sean Chunter's on about for an hour. No, come on. What do you want out of tonight? Why have you opted in to spend an hour of your life looking at Energise your NYRO? And I was just saying, those of you who've just joined in, it's easy, isn't it, on Zoom to come off these things. It's a bit kind of passive. And I think it's quite good to think, okay, what am I hoping for? I hope you talked about that, or what other things?
I'm new. I joined in May, so I'm just wanting to learn as much. I'm trying to get things under my belt before I actually get. I've done 200 odd pounds worth of stuff, but mainly for myself. Because unless I know the stuff, I can't sell it to anybody or promote. So I'm just information grabbing.
I
and
love
so
that,
it's
Jeannie.
within my body, then I
You
can
can't bet, Sean, have you?
go from there.
I'm the
I
same
love
as you,
it.
Jeannie. I'm new as well.
Me too.
Brilliant.
Thank
So
you.
actually,
And me.
maybe, yeah, loads of you are new. I love it. I was talking today. I had a call with the team who were at the office, and so all the consultant services and Kerry, who is the head of consultant services, and there were the three of us who are senior ambassadors, and then Xenia, who's been with the company. She's a founding leader, so she's frontline to the company. We have this call once a week, and I was just talking about the energy that you new people
Right.
have
Where are you
brought to
tomorrow
the
then?
team. You've got no idea how special you are. You're amazing, and you're energising the people who recruited you. Your results are knocking out of the water lots of other people. So whilst you might be feeling like you don't know enough about the products, to be honest, you'll always be learning about the products.
All right then.
But Jane, do you want to mute yourself if you're going to have a... Just, okay, it's all right. Shh. Love that. Putting your
I
finger on
think
it.
what's lovely about this now, I mean, I was a consultant back in 2011, and it's so different now, the whole learning thing and all this online, and there's just so much information, and you feel, I kind of feel much more a part of a team, and you kind of get on that roller coaster. You just want to get more and more of it, and it's so inspiring, you know, just listening to everybody and all the different Zoom meetings and how everybody's doing. It's great, and you just, you know, I think that's where the energy is building with it.
I think it is, Paula, and I think actually we just need to be really grateful for each other too, because I think, you know, we are special as a team in that, and everyone is very supportive. We really genuinely do look after each other, and there is a wealth of resource, isn't there, in everything that you have to offer from the company and from the various leaders who are above you all. I just wanted to go back to what Jeannie was saying about buying the products for yourself and using them. And I think actually, as we consider energising your NYRO, actually being a product of your product is really important, because your love of the product, those of you who've sold stuff already, probably most of that was based on ignorance on fire. You know, you didn't really know the features and benefits. You just promoted a product that you just loved, and your enthusiasm took you over the edge with that. And I find that that's one of the things that I love about this business, that 10 years down the line, you new people bring that fresh perspective and enthusiasm. And actually what it does is it energizes all of us back to the space that we all need to be in. So, you know, just as we come tonight, some of you probably are just like, I just want to soak it all up because I'm all new. For many of us, actually, we're a bit longer in the tooth, older, more experienced. Let's call it experienced rather than older. That's a nicer term, isn't it? And actually, for us, it's sometimes about re-energizing, so that we don't get jaded or a bit cynical or a bit
Complacent.
in the mud. So what I'm going to do now is screen share. If you wouldn't mind muting yourselves, that would be really helpful, because we have again got 2 screens worth of people. Welcome to everybody else who's joined us since we started. If you could mute yourself, you can do that in the little top right hand corner of your image, and I'm going to share my screen. Right, so one moment. Let's go from the start. So what you'll find is that you can move the pictures of the people around on the screen if you need to, so that it's out the way of the slides. You might need to just pick everybody up and drag them out of the way as we go today. Okay, we're going to start with a question. What would you want from me as your consultant if you were my customer? Can you just put some stuff in the chat, please? So imagine you are my customer. You're not my team members anymore, just for the purpose of this question. Right, you'd want information about the product, guidance on products for different skin type. You want offers, love that. Who's that? Heidi? No, Sarah, love it. Information, why you should buy the products and which ones. You'd like a personal touch, Holly. When you've typed yours, have a read of the others because I'm not going to read them all out. Why they're better than cheaper products. Knowledge and friendship, that's nice. What would be best for me? You'd like me to be your personal shopper, Liz. I like that. You'd want free stuff. Honest advice, honest tips, reliability, something extra. So can you expand on that, Dawn? I like that. I want to know what something extra you'd like from me. Product information. Enthusiasm but not pushy. Like that. Personal recommendations. A chance to try products. Okay. So in your journey as a consultant, nobody expects a brand new consultant to know everything about the product. So those of you who are experienced, it's your chance now to energize those in the team and on this call. Hang on a minute, I'm supposed to be recording. Oh, it's recording, it's all right. Those in the team who are new, those of you who are experienced, give some advice now to those in the team who are new. Where do you find your product knowledge? How have you become knowledgeable as you've done your journey? Stick it all in the chat. Holly, I love the fact you've put there, attend lots of training. How long have you been a consultant, honey? Love it. Trial and error, use all the product, read everything. Brochures, training, catalogue reading, take it to bed with you. That is your new best friend, your catalogue. Your replicated website, love that, Liz. Always have it open in parties, definitely. But with your replicated website, if you go to any product so that it's the only product on the screen, underneath that product image, you've got all the features and benefits, all the ingredients and how to use it. In my 10 years of experience, I would suggest that there are very few ingredients that customers are that fussed about. I think I had a misperception when I was first a consultant that I'd have to learn them all off by heart. But actually they don't. They want to know what a product is going to do for them. So you might reference a couple of key ingredients, but you're not really going to need to know all the list of ingredients. What you need to know is your features and benefits. Okay, so when it comes to knowledge, you can read, those of you who are new, you've got acres of stuff in that chat there. And down to the detail, like the cue cards in downloads and the webinars that are in the consultant website. You know, for many of us, when we first join, we click on those and we have a quick skim round. But the people who become really knowledgeable are the ones who go back and back and back to learning and just refreshing what's even there. You know, those of you who are oldies, when was the last time you went and had a look in the webinars to see what was there and reviewed your product knowledge? Now that doesn't mean sit down for 3 days and learn it all off by heart. It just means that as we go and as you're creating ideas for your customers, you might think, I wonder if there's anything on this particular theme that I could find out a bit more about, thank you, in downloads or in the cue cards and stuff. Because the harsh reality is that when I've put together the Zoom socials that we've been doing and the PowerPoint slides that I've been sharing with you guys, I've had to go and find that information. It isn't all in my head. Some of it is, But actually, to re-energize my knowledge and to refresh, I have to go back to all the same places as these experienced consultants are talking about. So actually, as we energize our NYRO, let's commit to being products of our products and being knowledgeable with all the wealth of resources that are available to us as consultants. Now, in the other things that you were talking about there that you wanted from me as a customer, knowledge came out high, but actually what you wanted was individual bespoke service. You wanted me to give you little bits extras or nice touches that make you feel good. And I'm actually going to talk to you about my friend Julie, who I mentioned earlier, whose freezer has broken down, because when I was planning this session, I've actually really inspired myself and energized my own NYRO. So thanks for pitching up and giving me a reason to do that, just in the planning. And one of the things that I did was it was an off-the-cuff conversation with Julie the other day, and I said to her, because she's one of my customers as well as a friend, that I was doing this session and I just wanted to get her view on how it is to be my customer. And she's a long-term friend, so I knew I'd get the gritty reality and not the whitewashed version. And actually what we did, I basically said to her was, you know, what do I do well? What can I improve? And are there other things that you'd like me to do for you? So one of the things to do to energize your NYRO is to ask your customers, your friends, what they would actually like. My dog's barking back to somebody's. I think it was Hayley's. Okay, so let's have a look at the next thing. So I've got some bullet points here. Be energized by what energizes and delights others. And when I say others, I don't just mean those people who are already your customers. I mean those who are potentially your customers, people who are going to be drawn to your business because of what you offer to those who are already included in it. Okay, so here are some tips that I've learned along the way. Number one, whatever you decide you're going to do, be comfortable with it and enjoy what you do. That doesn't mean don't stretch yourself, but it means out of the ideas that I come up with this evening and that we share with each other, pick the ones that grab your attention, that press your buttons, that work well with your nature. I'm just going to pause because I think a couple of you are not muted, so if you could just do that, that would be amazing. I'm just going to mute everybody. That's easier, isn't it? Okay, so be comfortable with what you're doing. In this current climate, this next one I think is really important. Go with the phases of this season. And I don't just mean in general, I mean specifically for individual customers. Because what I'm finding, and please be commenting in the chat as we go here, what I'm finding is that people are dipping in and out of what I'm offering. And that is true for new customers, but also for previous customers. Okay. But also, with the phases of this season, I think it would be fair to say that at the beginning of lockdown, what people were wanting was craving connection with other people. So actually, people are what we're wanting to be with other people on screens. I found the take up of my customer Zooms quite overwhelming, really. What that has happened is that the phase of that has changed, and some people who were in shock and not wanting to be engaged at the beginning are now connecting, and those that were really needing that connection are probably zoomed out now and need something a bit different. And that's why we're going to come up with some fresh ideas for now. So what I'm saying there is that there'll be an ebb and flow of different people's responses at different times. And somebody's put in the chat there, Liz, you said about people definitely being cautious about spending. I think that is, again, I think you're right in that it's a bit of a thing for this particular part of the season, this phase of the season. But I'm having to be really careful in my business, certainly, not to make generalizations. So some people are still really spending and some people are being really cautious. I do think the general trend at the moment is caution because of all the news that's happening with job losses and people making cuts in jobs. It does feel a bit wobbly out there. But the way that we keep hold of customers isn't just about their spend, it's about relationship, and it's about hearing where they're at in lockdown. It's about potentially creating special moments for them that are not about what they've spent, but valuing them for who they are and being part of your NYRO organic customer journey. And Dawn, you're right, you know, sometimes the sales feel like they're ebbing away slightly, people are a little bit cautious, and then suddenly you've got somebody, boom, who places a big order. Now I find that the likelihood of people placing that big order goes up dramatically if you keep doing the things that you know get results. The danger is that we become a bit disillusioned, it feels like it's dropping, and so we stop doing the things that were generating the business. But guys, what we're saying here in your energizing is that it isn't about you, it's about them as the customer. And if you ask them at the beginning, what would you like from me as a customer of mine, you just keep doing those things, and then the results will come in good season. Yeah, some really interesting stuff in the chat. I'm going to finish this slide and then I'm going to come back to some of the points you're making. Okay, so scratch where people itch. I asked you at the beginning of this call, what are you hoping to get out of it? I asked Julie as a customer, what do you like about what I do? And what could I do more of? Or do you mind if I pick your brains on creative things about just kind of meeting people's need in this season? Can you imagine having some of those conversations with your customers and friends and just seeing what their responses would be? But you can't scratch where people itch unless they know they're itching. So one of the things that I did with Julie was like, oh, I love that idea. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And she got all kind of excited because she was saying, oh, I'm looking forward to that now. So actually when it comes, there's already an anticipation in her. And also what she was doing was pointing out things that I was doing that I was getting right. So even silly things, I always write my customer's name on the front of the bag. And to be honest, part of it is an organisational thing, because if I'm going out doing deliveries, or when we could be all together, I was dropping all the party orders off to a host, it was much easier to be able to see everybody's names on all the order bags. But I write it with a deep blue Sharpie, and I do a line underneath, and then my signature is always a little heart. And she said, I just love the way you write my name on the bag. Now, for me, that I hadn't realised that was a particularly special thing, but I'm scratching where she itches in being noticed. And I was thinking, I want to be really creative about how I do that. One of the things a very dear friend of mine does is she'll often write an adjective before my name if she's sending me a card. So she might say, to lovely Sian Dumas on the envelope. And it's something that I so enjoyed receiving that I've adopted. And I know that some of you have had posts from me that I want to kind of flick through and look at your faces now, but you've had posts where I've done that. And I just think that's a really nice way to notice somebody. People want to be seen, don't they? So ask them what they'd like and then scratch them where they itch. And one size only fits one person. It's not going to be generic. It's about the attention to detail. And you'll probably only do that with your main key customers. Okay, so well-being and natural health is on a massive upturn. There is, put in the chat if you agree with me, people just thinking, right, I'm going to take this time to look after myself. They're looking out for products that are ethical, and they want to support small businesses, and they want to think about the background of where products are coming from. So we can absolutely sit with confidence in that part of the market. Yeah, I'm glad in the chat you're agreeing. Okay, and then the other dynamic of what we've got going on at the moment is shopping without going to the shops. In my conversation with Julie, you're going to be sick of hearing about Julie later. She was saying that she's got a really good friend that she works with who is a shopper. She loves shopping in the centre of town, and we live in Bath, so it's a beautiful place to shop most of the time. But she went to town the other day, apparently, because the shops were open. She's like, right, great, at last I can get out there and do some shopping. But actually, the place was like a ghost town. Most things aren't open. Everybody's a bit cautious and a bit afraid. I find the whole thing stressful because I'm quite empathic. So I'm just picking up what is going on around me all the time. And so actually what we're doing is the opposite of that scene, with really personal one-to-one service. I think I'm going to have to save some of the chat because there are some real nuggets in there of ideas. It's great. Have a read whilst you're listening. So the key message here, guys, is ask them. Be energized by what energizes and delights them, but don't try and guess. Have conversations and use that as part of your own inspiration. And I found this quote, which I just thought was beautiful, as well as the picture. Every customer walks away with a story to tell. Make sure it's one that you want told over and over. Because as you plow energy into the other person, it will energize you. This company attracts people who want to give. And as we are energized by people's responses and we're sharing the love with them, that will spread. And I think sometimes we can be quite savvy in how we then draw other customers to that vibe that we're creating, rather than worrying about how do I grow my customer base? How do I make people become my customers? Well, you won't. The best thing you can do is make it magnetic with a small group and let them do the storytelling and introduce others. And we've got some ideas on how we're going to do that as we go. Right, so let me just have a look at this chat and see if there's anything else. Perfect for life in general. It certainly is, Jeannie. Great. It's definitely safer to shop at home. Lovely ideas about extras that you put into order bags, tea bags in. I love that, Dawn. Imagine we're having a cuppa together. Look through the brochure and ask me anything you need to. Great. So what I'll do, actually, guys, Lorraine wrapped her customers' bar salts in a brown corrugated packing paper for safety reasons. She loved it and said it was like a friend. I love it. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go through the chat and I'll just pull out some of the nuggets from tonight and share those in the team page so that we can use these ideas. You don't need to be scribbling them all down. Veronique, how do you become magnetic? Well, by doing the things that draw people to yourself. If you think about somebody that draws people to themselves, they're loving what they do. They usually, I would suggest, make it about other people. And you just want to be a part of whatever they're on. I don't know if anyone else has got other ideas about how you become magnetic. It's a nice idea. Okay, and I found this one. Let's just do a bit of a reality check for us as consultants. The word customer down the middle there. And I just would love you to put in the chat, if you were to pick one of those characteristics of your customer service, which would you say you're really hot on? Would you say that it's about positivity? Is it about conviction about our brand? Are you loyal to your customers? Do you give them lovely feeling about the products they buy from you and the process and experience of buying from you? Are they satisfied? Which one, if you had to pick one, are you really good at? And put that into the chat. Listen to your customers' needs, Nanda. That's lovely. Feeling. Okay, good. Liz is choosing experience, trust, feeling, loyalty, positivity. Nice. Okay, yeah, it's hard to pick one sometimes, Harriet, but it's good, isn't it? If actually these are all nice qualities for a customer to feel, then we have to create the environment for them to feel that. Okay, now maybe look down the list and think, actually, that one I would like to improve on, or that's the one that I want to grab now, and just give that some focus. I love what you've just said, Becky. All of these make us more than a salesperson. Absolutely. You cannot do hard sell or pushy sale, I don't think, with a brand like Neil Shod Remedies, because it's incongruent with everything that this brand is about. But it is a brand that is people helping people, and it is a brand that has got its details right. So let's be consultants that do the same. And it doesn't mean that you don't need some selling skills, because I think in order to stay comfortable and to get the results that we want to be able to promote the products, not just for income, but because of promotion of the organic brand, because we're proud of who we are, because we want people to make an organic choice over other products. We need the skills to do that, and that's a whole other conversation. Quite happy to do some input on that, but in terms of being energized, I don't think those skills will in themselves energize you in the way that plowing your attention into the other person will do so. Try to be there when you're not. If people like you, they will buy from you. Yeah, absolutely. I found I've used a variety of things with those sampling essential oil in the last few months, and I've come back to the tester strips. Sometimes I've run out of them and I use little slivers of the catalogue and things, but the reason I've come back to the tester strips is because the fragrance lasts longer. And I noticed that customers were sending me messages saying, oh, I put it down on my bedside table and this morning it still smells of that. Thank you again for last night's Zoom, or something like that. It's like there's a little reminder in the fragrance of you and how you made them feel. And there's that famous quote, isn't there, from Maya Angelou: people won't remember what you told them. They will remember how you made them feel. And so that feeling and experience part that actually you guys chose as strengths is lovely, because that's a really good bedrock of what we're about. Okay, so what have we been up to so far? And what I've done here is collected together some of the things that I know some people have been doing. And it will be quite good as I go through these. I'm just going to go through them each and kind of do a few features and benefits of each one, what has been helpful for customers in the messaging that I've heard throughout the team. And maybe that will inspire you to pick up one of them that you haven't done yet. Maybe that's ringing the changes for your customers, and you can add into the chat why you would recommend these ways of engaging at the moment. And then we've got some other ones, which are certainly newer to me, that might just freshen up what we're doing for the next season. So the first one there, as you can see, is Zoom socials, and that is a perfect place to get people together where they can see each other and chat and ask questions and experience the products. So people come in various attire, a bit like team training really. They might have feet in washing up bowls. They might be sitting doing this in front of a mirror, doing a facial. Maybe they're smelling essential oils, sitting back on their sofa, closing their eyes. Maybe they're trying products on the back of their hand. You can, on Zooms, because it's live, obviously engage people with things like the diffusers that you've got going. When I did my aromatherapy and diffusers social, I actually plugged in the different diffusers that I'd got. So if you've got more than one, why not show them? Turn to the page in the catalogue, but they're here live working, and they can see the lights changing and all that kind of stuff. Okay, catalogues with samples stuck in. Some of you might have heard me say, I think this is the closest we get to scratch and sniff books. Just really bringing to life some of the pages with samples of the products actually stuck on the right products. And we're going to come back to sampling in a little while. I just want to talk a bit more about that. Okay, yeah, okay, couple of comments here. Debbie, I agree, something physical in the, I presume that was about the Zoom, just being there in a room together. Get a nicer bowl, great, okay. Sample packs, some people have been sending them out in little paper bags or pretty envelopes or organza drawstring bags or whatever you want. Sample packs so that people can try the products in the privacy of their own home. We're going to come back to sampling and some tips on that so that you don't get de-energized by dishing out samples with no results. Social media, some of you are really good on just product focus and just getting back into particular individual products. Some of you, yeah, getting back into it, meaning you've re-energized your social media channels for customers, and that's drawing attention as well. What's so great about that is we've got fixed visuals that the company have made, but we can also use our own photographs, which is great. One-to-one time with individual customers, just chatting, making recommendations to them in terms of product, talking, just chatting the product basically. It's the softest form of selling. Really nice. So let's just come back to this sampling. Just a bit of a heads up, there are some packs of samples that are going to be coming fairly soon, which I just wanted to give you the heads up on, because what that is going to enable is a whole facial collection workshop pack or a home sampling collection, which is going to be lovely to have as a way of bringing some order to the variety of different samples that we've got. I think it's 2 packs and there'll be a variety of products within them, but just to look out for that, because maybe if you are like some people are putting in the chat, someone who uses sampling as a bit of a scattergun approach, one of the things that I would really recommend is that you tease yourself with these sampling packs in being more focused on what you sample, so that you plan well how you're going to use this collection of sample sachets. So 2 suggestions I've put there: the workshop itself, so you can do it as a Zoom or a Facebook event, however you're running it, but also a home sampling collection might be of more benefit to people who would like to have that individual connection with you, but don't necessarily want to come and be on a Zoom social. Maybe they're zoomed out, and maybe they just aren't that fussed about groups of people that they may or may not know. But in general, with sampling, I would suggest that being focused is really important. So when you are dishing out samples, don't just toss them willy-nilly into bags, because following up and asking people how they got on with a sample sachet is really key to success. So let me give you an example. In the sleep and relaxation workshop, I used the last sachet that I used for my customers was the Beauty Sleep Concentrate, but I said to them that whilst I was happy for them to tear the corner off and just try a little bit on the back of their hand, they'd already got products on their face. I actually wanted them to save it for the following night, because obviously we were doing the Zoom in the evening and they already had got several products. They'd tried oils for relaxation and for sleep. And Beauty Sleep Concentrate is one of our top 10 sellers. It's an amazing product. And I wanted them to really get the benefit of that after the event. So what I asked them to do was to save the majority of the sample sachet and use it the following night, but to ping me a message the morning after they'd used it to tell me how their face felt. And so actually what that did is it initiated conversations about Beauty Sleep Concentrate, and it meant I could go back over what I'd said about it. I did have a couple of people purchase it. Most people didn't, but what it did was it really effectively put that sample on their radar. So it was one sample sachet with a really clear call to action. And call to action is quite important because it just simplifies that bit where you dance around not knowing how to do this without being salesy. So to be able to ping some of them a message and say, did you use your sample last night and wondering how your face felt, was my way of a soft follow-up, because I hate hard sell. And I only did that with the ones who obviously didn't message me themselves. But actually, in terms of the follow-up, the vast majority of the people who'd been on that call did their following up themselves because they got in touch with me and initiated the conversation. If you think about it, Wild Rose Beauty Balm's another one. So sometimes delaying the gratification and saying to them, actually, I'd love you to use this after the next hot day in the sun, where your skin's feeling a bit sun-kissed. Find a pink shoulder to put it on, or give your face a lovely nurturing treat and ping me a message when you've used it and tell me how it was. Something like that homes in on what you want them to do about it. Let me just see in the chat, it keeps picking up. Okay, great. Are you actually listening to me, or are you just sharing ideas on the chat? I hope some of this is helpful. Okay, so we are listening. Good, you are, Veronique. That's great to know. The other thing to do with sampling is sometimes to ask customers to be like the trialer of a new product. So don't just think sachets, think new product comes out and you've got the sample pots, and you might say, I've bought this product and actually I wondered if you would sample it for me for a few days and tell me what you think. So what that does is it really hones people in on being special, and obviously is likely to lead to sales, because what we can be comfortable in is that the product sells itself. So that's another way to use it, not just off the back of the Zooms. Any questions on the sampling? If you've got a question on any of this, just unmute yourself and you can just say those questions.
Hiya.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, I can't see anything, but
Hi,
I
Debbie.
wondered about the sample packs and everything. Do you think the range is going to extend of samples available, or do you think it's going to narrow?
I don't think it's about the narrowing or extending of the samples. I think it's just putting them together so that they come as a collection that becomes a workshop or a sampling pack facial.
Yeah, so like the frankincense intense, for example, would all be together.
Well, not necessarily. What I'm just saying is that the ideas are there, and hopefully we'll see a couple of these soon, and we'll be trialing them. And if it works, I'm sure they'll consider adding to it. I don't know exactly what is going to be in them, but I hope that it isn't actually just all the intents together, because we've got those as individual samples and we can always put those together ourselves. What I'd like to see is a bundle that perhaps takes people through the facial process but gives them the chance to try perhaps different facial collections. Yeah, something like that. But to be honest, I don't know, because I don't know the details that are finalized. Sorry, that's a bit vague.
All right.
Okay. And a couple of people are saying there about the samples, and they can be a bit limiting. Let me just explain the background on that, guys. So all the samples have to be put into sample sachets in the factory, and while sachets are being filled, product bottles aren't being filled. So we can't have sachets of everything, but what we've got is endless possibility with sample pots, because actually in any of the sampling of testers, you would in a workshop or a party give people a squidge of that product on the back of their hand, or for them to apply to whatever part of their body. And all we're doing is transferring that squidger product into a pot. You certainly don't need to fill them up. One of the ways to use sampling as well to grow your customer base is to do what I call viral sampling. And this has worked quite well for me at a point where I've just needed to inject some fresh energy, into asking customers to bring other customers. So if I give you an example, I might say to a customer, I'm going to give you 10 samples of this product, and what I'd love you to do is to keep one for yourself and give the other 9 to people that you know, and then have an incentive for that person. I'm not going to be specific about what incentive that is, because that's down to each individual consultant, but some incentive that says that if somebody comes to you and wants to purchase that product or wants to come and join in your Zooms, whatever else, be part of your customer base basically, then the customer who has referred them through the sampling gets a benefit. So it's rewarding people for referral basically. If anybody else has got any other ideas on how to use sampling, do put them in the chat, guys. Okay, so got some other ideas here of ways that we can be energized by what energizes and delights others. And the first one I've put here, basically these are things that I'm just going to be expanding. I do some of them to a certain extent, but I think they can all have more focus for me. Gifting service is one of them. Guys, we have 2 different sizes of gift boxes in our business tools, and they're cheap as chips, and that makes gifting anything in the catalogue possible with some shredded brown paper. I know a lot of people just put the brown packaging paper through their shredder. Word to the wise, make sure that the last bits of white are out of your shredder before you shred all your brown. I know now, but the first time I did it, I ended up having to pick out bits of white from my shredder. So there's my tip. But basically using those gift boxes to create a gifting service. Now, I have a gifting service, and I think what my turning up energy on this is that I rely on customers coming and asking me, can you do a gift box for someone, or do you have a gift set of this? I've got a present coming up, a birthday coming up, or a gift I want to buy for someone. This is an area for us right now that we can really expand, because it's shopping without going to the shops, and people are wanting ideas of how they can get hold of these. How they can get hold of gifts without necessarily having to go to shops or buy online. Especially good for customers who are local to you. So in terms of, I saw someone put in the chat there, how much do we charge? I basically charge the cost of the box and the products, and that's it. The boxes tie with a ribbon, and the shredded paper or tissue paper that you want to put in it is up to you how you decorate it. And when I was planning tonight, I contemplated bringing photographs of things that I've done, but to be honest, I decided I wasn't going to, and I was going to ask you guys to pool your ideas. The problem with that is that people feel they've got to adopt what somebody else has done. So I guess in your mind's eye, just create, what does that look like for you? What do you want your gifting service to look like, and how are you going to promote that? And one of the things I'm certainly going to be doing is taking photographs of those when I put them up, and telling the story of who it's for. So because Debbie just asked the question, I'm looking at Debbie's picture, which is nice. If Debbie was my customer, I might say, Debbie's just been in touch. I obviously wouldn't put her full name in there. And she's asked me to make up a gift set for a friend of hers who's just had a baby. What do you think? And it would be the picture of the gift box with the products laid out in it. So what it's doing is a subtle message of other people are buying these, other people are buying gifts from her, I'll do the same. It puts your gifting service out there and on the table. Conversely, the other way that you could be promoting that is, in that scenario, I might say to Debbie, would you mind taking a photograph of it and just posting about it yourself. So some customers will be really happy to promote your business, that they might not think of it, but they might be very happy to do it if you suggest it. The other nice thing about the gift boxes is that you can ask a customer about a specific price point or a specific need that isn't always covered by the pre-boxed gift boxes that we have. So it's just a really nice way to bespoke to that individual customer's needs for their chosen person. And actually what's really nice too is that you can often just insert a couple of little samples that go well with the range that they've collected. And also the other thing in a gifting service is to ask that customer whether they'd be happy for you to put a little note inside the box. So maybe hidden down the side, I would suggest that isn't a business card, but I do this at Christmas and I'm like, why am I not doing this in this season? I just make a little note. I just have cut little bits of card and I write on them and just say, it's been really fun putting this gift together for you and choosing the products with whoever. If you'd like any more information about the products, having tried them, please do be in touch. I'd be delighted to give you more information or something like that. Sign it off with your first name and a phone number, because you never know when those things are going to come back round. And one of the, interestingly, as I thought about this, I was thinking about one of my customers, and she's called Sarah, and she has been to probably 4 or 5 of my social events. She's a regular customer. She spends, when she does spend, she buys quite a lot of products, and she came as a result of a note in a gift box. So a different customer of mine is a friend of hers, and actually that customer I have very little contact with. She popped up recently to get a hand defense spray, but I don't see very much of her. But Sarah has become a really key customer as a result of that gift set. So it really does work.
Sean, just quickly,
Yes.
you know when you said, because I'm writing notes, you said with what you wrote in the note, did you say, what language did you use? Because I've put down here if you have any further questions, but you said something different. What was your language with it?
I think I said something like, if you want to find out more about these products.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's all right, no problem. I'll take that moment just to look in the chat. Okay, good. Right, here's another idea. Okay, simplify. So individual product celebration and focus. That is, instead of in general promoting Neil Shod remedies, in general promoting facial products, to home in on maybe a product of the week. So actually this links with sampling. You could just say, if you like and share my post on Wild Rose Beauty Balm, I'll post you out a sample of Wild Rose Beauty Balm. So something like that, where you're just homing in on one particular thing. And then obviously being creative about what that promotion and celebration looks like. So you might get someone else in your household to take a video of you using that product. Where do you put it? And obviously that includes lives and Facebook lives as well, doesn't it? And Instagram videos. Okay, so growing your customer base through osmosis, incentivizing people who are coming to your social events, your Zooms, or whatever it is that you're doing at the moment, to bring a friend or two. What this does is it bridges the gap between customer and host. Not everybody wants to host, but they might be happy to bring a couple of mates. And in a couple of situations, what that's done for me is grown into actually loads of them want to come. Do you mind if we do our own? So you then have got somebody hosting a separate Zoom for that group of people. Okay, so I mentioned that, videos and lives of you using the products. So more kind of expanding from static images. For some of you, you're really good at this. But actually, you know, for some of us, we could just do with zhuzhing that up a bit and being a bit more energized about it. I'm certainly speaking to myself here. Now, this one really excites me. This was one of Julie's ideas. Customer recommendations to customers. So actually, going back to what I was saying about videos of you using the product, maybe that is of a customer using your product and using that as the recommendation rather than a video that you've done. Because as the consultant, you're kind of supposed to do those videos, but when a customer recommends it, that's the point where you've got somebody who's an influencer in your business. Maybe getting them to send you a quote. So when I was chatting to Julie about this, and we both got really excited about this, she is a Beauty Sleep Concentrate advocate. And I said to her, can you ping me a message at some point in the next few days with a quote about what you love about Beauty Sleep Concentrate? What I'm going to do is take a photograph of Beauty Sleep Concentrate, probably squidging out onto the top of my finger, and then overlay that with Julie's quote. So you're using the photograph and the customer's quote as your visual. And you probably know that the photos that we take of products get a lot more likes and interest than the fixed social media images. I think it's right to use the fixed ones because it's all about brand awareness and brand presence. But the products in harness are the very best way. So can you up the ante with your customer recommendations? That would be great. Nice to see your face in the corner of my screen, Jane. Right, please don't take this the wrong way. Drink me type labels, I'm not suggesting ingesting at all, but think Alice in Wonderland. And rather than wrapping individual products in an order bag, how about just having tags that are around the neck of the bottle that just say again how to use the product or describe the features and benefits? You don't even have to do it for all of the products in that order bag. But maybe even if just for some, imagine being on the receiving end of that. I don't know, put into the chat, would you like that kind of label if you were my customer? If you were pulling your products out of the bag and some of them had little tags on, what would your responses be? Maybe it's just Julie. Okay, so some of you would love it. Great. So yeah, little personal touches. And what I would say, guys, is stalk Instagram and see what other people are doing. Yeah, interesting point, Ruth. Often been frustrated by other products that I've been sold that I've got no idea how to use properly. Yeah, Sarah, good as I might have forgotten what I bought it for. Totally. And actually, this has really inspired me because my next Zoom is going to be facials. So look out for the training on that one. But actually, when you do the facial process, we often talk, don't we, when we're doing facials about what is a toner for instance. If somebody then buys the collection, they can't remember what order to use the products in. What was this one again? And it all just overcomplicates it. So almost a kind of step-by-step 1, 2, 3 would be really nice. Jane, so interesting. This is interesting because I think I would find the labels irritating. Brilliant. You've got to love a different perspective. And I love that, Jane, because to be honest, that perpetuates what I was saying at the beginning. One size fits one.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought, and that's a good learning for me because it would irritate the hell out of me because I would think, but I've checked how to use these already. Why does she put a note in to tell me? Brilliant. So don't do it. When you give me something NYR, don't put a label on the bottles, Sian.
Note to self. Thank you very much.
I do like the idea of putting a label on for the gift sets, so the cleanse, tone and moisturize, to remind people in what order they do it in.
Yeah, absolutely. And just maybe even just, it's not even instructions. Maybe for some people the tag is really hope you enjoy this. It's one of my favorites. I don't know. But I would think about tagging a bag. I wouldn't have thought necessarily about tagging an individual product. Another one that I saw recently, and I can't do that because I'm giving out my catalogues left, right and centre, but somebody had, if you've got old catalogues, you could cut out the details about that product from the page and wrap it around the bottle with a bit of twine. I can't be doing that. I've got too many customer orders going out and that doesn't press my button. So to go back to what I was saying at the beginning, do the things that are going to, as Marie Kondo would say, spark joy for you. Be comfortable in what you're doing. Be happy and energized in what you're doing. I quite like the tags idea, but some of you might like that idea of the bit of the catalogue that describes that product. Horses for courses. Right, so here's a quote from Mr. Amazon. If you do build a great experience, customers tell each other about that. Word of mouth is very powerful. So actually what we're talking about here, just to bring us back to that, is a magnetic business that people think, oh, I want her to be my consultant. I like the way she treats her customers. I like hearing what my friends are saying about what they get.
It's a classic thing with my PR hat on, Sean. It's a classic thing of third-party endorsement is worth, I think, something like 10 times more than me saying it myself.
Absolutely, yeah. So here, just for those of you taking notes, some bits on the customer recommendations that we've been talking about. If you've got a Facebook group, invite them to recommend their products, but don't do it as a generic messaging. Ask them individually. So as Jane's just spoken, I'm looking at her. If Jane was a customer, I would say to her, Jane, it's been lovely to hear you rave about whatever it is. Would you mind posting about it on the Facebook group? Because other customers love to hear what customers are using. So I'm prompting her away from the group to put that post on. Again, not everybody will think of it themselves, but most would be happy, I think, to post if it helps. And again, I'm speaking to myself because my Facebook group for customers frustrates me because I post lots on it and I get very little interaction on the group. They message me afterwards, which just makes the group look really static. So this is one of the things I'm going to be doing. As I said, photos of the product with a quote that you've collected from that individual customer. Make sure you tag them if they are on social media, because what they will do is add to that quote. So think about the journey that I just described with Julie and her Beauty Sleep Concentrate. And I tag her in her photograph and I quote, thank you so much. And I tag Julie, won't give you her name. You'll probably see it soon. And then she's like, oh, you're so welcome. It's amazing. Off she goes. And then it goes out to all of her friends too. This is a really good way to collect customers. I'm probably going to need to have an offline conversation with Julie then about, why don't we do a sleep and relaxation evening for some of your friends who are liking your post? So try and relate the benefit to her of being a host to the thing that she loves about the products. If you've got somebody who loves Be Lovely, do a Be Lovely and Products for Outdoors event for them. That's the suggestion you make, rather than, oh, your quote was great. Do you want to host a party? Because it's too generic. Make it about the thing that they love. They can do lives or videos if they're happy to. How about doing a customer's product photos? You could turn it into a competition. Where do you keep yours? Products around their houses. Come on, we love Zoom because we get sneaky peeks into each other's homes. How about seeing their products in situ? And then you could actually use post-its or stickers with quotes from your own customers in the catalogues. This was an idea that came because I was in a meeting a couple of weeks ago where we were looking at inserting some customer quotes and consultant quotes into the catalogues. And I did actually post about it in the team page. And those of you in my personal team, I put it in the WhatsApp group. And we've got the opportunity, guys, to be famous in the catalogue. And so far, I have absolutely zero consultant quotes about products or what they love about being a consultant. So you've got a really high chance of being in the next catalogue. So make sure you get me those quotes.
Sean, I sent you one ages ago. I'll have to find out when I did it. You obviously didn't get it.
I didn't. You could have been the only one.
Was it meant to be? Was it an email or something?
I did it on Facebook and WhatsApp. How did you send it to me?
That's why I'll need to go and double check.
Oh yeah, do. I'd love to have it. And joking aside, guys, yeah, sorry about that, Cindy. No, I haven't seen it. Joking aside, be quick if you've got those quotes, because it'd be really nice to have them. And if you can collect any customer ones as well in the next sort of, where are we? Wednesday. I need them by Friday. Then let me know. But word to the wise, if you're going to have customer recommendations in your catalogues, can I suggest that isn't near the tea bags or the lip balm, you know, bottom price products. Let's have customer recommendations for the key products that we sell and the higher price point products. It'd be really good to have links as well with the samples if you want to. Okay, so lots of ideas. Would you put into the chat first of all, before we go to this one? Let's go back to this one. Which of these have pressed your buttons? Which ones are you going to try? Or what have you written down in your notes of things that, yeah, I need to up the ante with my customers? The labels, Holly. Don't sell to Jane though, whatever you do. Gifting service, love that. Lives of me using the products, great. Post-it notes in the catalogue, good, good, good. Can I just prompt you here? Everything, love that, Jeannie. Nobody's put speak to my customers and ask them what they want. So hopefully that's because all of you are going to do that. Great to have your own ideas. That's amazing. I love it. Thank you. I'm glad it's been inspirational. Right, let's flick back through to what I was going to say. Grounding all of that, guys, I hope what this does is it creates for you a really energized customer base. It's certainly been lovely in the last few weeks to grab my customer contact and shake it out and energize it again. And now I'm ready to do the next phase of that. But to be honest, that can create a little bit of chaos. So please get organized for the sake of your customers and your own sanity. So hit some suggestions, ask them what they want, infuse them with some of the ideas and let them look forward to it. Remember, they've got to be itchy before they let you scratch it. And then offer them the choice of connection. How is this going to work for them? So do they want a choice? Sorry, give them a choice and tell them why you have each one. So I usually say to customers, my WhatsApp, I have a broadcast list because I can send you quick messages. It's instant. I wouldn't necessarily put all that information in an email. Potentially on Facebook, you get to be with other customers and hear their recommendations. I would post articles about our provenance stories or sort of general articles about herb of the month, that kind of thing. I don't put that in my WhatsApp group. Instagram is for visual people and for ideas and how I'm using the product. Kind of that's something that I really want to develop in the second half of this year. So just kind of paint the picture like that. An email tends to be more bigger picture, structured communication, and just let them choose. So you're going to need some kind of customer record, whether you do that in a file or on a spreadsheet or index cards, it really doesn't matter. But you do need a system, don't you, where you've got information on who has had or is interested in what. So when something comes out like the frankincense cleansing melt, it's just a good idea to be able to have a system that means that you can go through and find people who have been interested in the frankincense collection, who might like a sample of that, who might like to come to something that you're doing that features that new product. So ask yourself, if that scenario comes up, what system do I need to help me get organized with that? And some of you are probably more naturally organized than others. So ask around, see what works for those who you're close with in the team. Shout if you're stuck. And then my last point on getting organized for the sake of your customers is to forward plan your ideas into action. So for instance, taking what we were saying about not scattergunning samples, just decide, right, I'm going to do a sample a week or a sample a fortnight. Which one am I starting with? Which one am I doing in the second week of July? Which one am I doing the first week of August? That kind of structure. I'm looking at Cindy, who is very organised and sorted on stuff like this, and she's looking at me like, isn't that blooming obvious? Trust me, it isn't. And I know some of you are more scattergun than you'd probably care to admit. And I think the other dynamic with getting organised for the sake of your customers is just to learn to be comfortable with the space, that your organisation systems are never going to be up to date. So, you know, it should be a live thing. But if in general, something like a frankincense product gets launched, you know where you can find the people who like frankincense. It's all good. You don't want to be scrolling back through messages to find somebody's address to post them the latest catalogue. You know, it's that kind of stuff. Collect the information together to make your life a bit easier for yourself. And then, of course, in energising your business, to be honest, I don't care whether people want to be customers or hosts or consultants. I honestly don't mind, because for my business to be thriving, I need all three. So again, plough your energy into what is the best choice for them. Offer the benefits of each one as you go. You don't want them saying, why didn't you tell me? Give them the choices. I usually get people to turn to the back page of the catalogue and show them the join share shop. And those who love being your customer may well want to go on and be your host or your team member. But for many, many people, customer is often the start. So if the experience is right in being a customer, then they're more likely to be willing to let you loose in front of their friends or to be part of your team. So really think of your customer service as the precursor for your hosts and your team members. Keeping it all about them, just like you do with the customer service, because being a host or a team member is another form of service. So just keep why they're joining or why they're hosting. Know the reasons that it is for them, not necessarily for you or why you do it. And the only way you're going to know is to ask. And then I've put there at the end, keep learning and trying and failing and succeeding and learning and trying, because it's a really good role model. And we're all doing that. There are times when all of us need to dust ourselves down and pick ourselves up. I have inspired myself in the planning of tonight, and I've irritated myself with the stuff that I should flipping well be doing and am not. So actually, even in the process of creating this for you 10 years down the line, you know, I'm doing the same journey as some of you guys think you're the only ones doing because you're new. It isn't like that. You are constantly learning and growing and changing. And at the moment, for some of you, as you're new, that is about beginning a customer base, just starting with a handful of people who are interested, who are around you, and not really feeling like you know enough about the product. And this time next year, you'll be going, oh my goodness, I've got loads of customers and I feel like I've got so much to learn because I've never had a customer base of a few hundred before. Wouldn't that be a nice problem to have? But it will start with you ploughing your energies into them as individual people, working out what they want and adapting your behaviours to what they want rather than your own awareness of your own skills and knowledge. Okay, so let's stop that. And you're all still there. That's good. Let me have a look at the chat. Hi Liz, nice to wave. Always worrying I don't know enough. Rachel, I think that's so common. But to be honest, my question is, when will you know enough? When will that worry stop? It's not likely to, because to be honest, when you know enough about the product, you'll be learning stuff about how to wield a team. Or you'll be fine-tuning some other aspect of your business. It's just, yeah, as Hazel said, never stop learning. It's a sad state if you stop learning and you think you know it all. Okay. Veronique, ideas of sessions for Zoom. Absolutely. Go to my Facebook page and you'll see all the previous ones that we've done so far in the last few months. My weekend job, because it didn't happen last weekend, I wasn't feeling very marvellous last weekend, so it all got put on hold. But this weekend's job is to put the Zoom sessions that we've done as recordings, which are currently sitting in my Zoom account, into the team YouTube channel, which can then be uploaded as links into the belovelies.com website, which the lovely Lucy Beckford and her son have created. Thumbs up, Lucy, thank you. So actually that will just be a much more accessible place for you to see them. But if you go to my Sean Dumar NYRO Organic Team page, you'll be able to scroll back through and find the links if you're desperate. For those of you who are new, I would suggest you start with the starter kit social that I did, because that's obviously using the products in your starter kit. Shout, please, if you can't find something, ping me a message or speak to your upline leader, and we can sort it out. And that's a nice thing to finish on, Cindy. I love that. You'll always know more than your customers, especially if you're a product of your product. So what time is it? 20 to 10. Any questions that are burning before we clear off and use our Beauty Sleep Concentrate, or order our Beauty Sleep Concentrate, because we now need it in our lives because Julie has sold it to us?
I had an online party via Zoom. I had some friends join me. I limited it because of the sending out the samples, and because of the way Royal Mail was at the time, they weren't getting them within 2 days, so I sent them all special delivery. So it cost me, as you can imagine, it cost me quite a bit.
Absolutely.
So the next thing I thought of doing a social distancing party in my back garden.
Yeah, I agree with you, Wendy, and I think, again, one size fits one. I've got a hostess who's just booked a body one for her back garden, which we postponed because the moment she booked it, the weather deteriorated. I don't know about you, but in Bath at the moment, you'd need a boat for each attendee. But when it improves, we're going to do that. However, when she was inviting, some people were like, oh, yes, the idea of being together in your beautiful garden, and some people were really not sure about it. So I would say proceed with caution. I think people at the moment are, in general, more comfortable staying virtual.
Yeah. Well, how do you get around the bit about sending products out and them not receiving it on time? Or
yeah, so my best advice is to send them well in advance. So I would allow a good week in the post. The other thing I'm finding, which is weird, is a couple of times I've been in a more of a hurry, so I've put it first class. That seems to take longer than second.
Really?
I don't know whether that's just me and it was my situations, but I would say, you know, you need to be asking people, look, this is the theme. Would you like to be part of it? Get them signing up a good 2 weeks in advance so you've got time to get the samples out. Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing 2 weeks and one still didn't get it, and one I really wanted to have the stuff. It cost me £7 to get it there in time.
Yeah, and guys, that's prohibitively expensive.
Yeah, I've only did it the once.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I've only done one Zoom party. I got one order from it out of 6, and with everybody else saying, oh yes, I'll place an order, but they haven't done. And then another one just rung me up the other day out of blue and said, well, I wanted to get the aromatherapy starter kit for £20, but she said they were charging me delivery. And I said, well, you should have ordered it on the night. And I said,
okay. The other thing, Wendy, is you can deliver stuff for £3.10 second class if you're happy to go to the post office, but it will cost her £4 on the website. And I don't know why 90p makes a difference, but that's convinced a few of my customers.
Really?
Get it sent to you.
Yeah, well, because that's what I said to her. I said, look, I'll be putting an order. I'll let you know when I'm putting an order, and then you can order from me. She said, well, if it's up to £30, I might see what else is in the catalogue. I might say, you know, because it's only an extra £10, you know. So
I think it's also good to use the online party links to focus people's attention into ordering in a certain time frame. And I don't know whether you did that with your
I did, yeah.
particular Zoom. Yeah, good.
But a lot of people at the time, that it was like somebody said about people with, you know, not knowing with their money situation and everything like that. I mean, someone said, oh, you know, I'm not sure because my husband's out of work and I'm out of work, and, you know, I'm not sure. I'll let you know during the week, but she never got back to me on that.
No, and that's fair enough. But I've also managed to convert a couple of customers today on the new gift with purchase. So I started a new online party link this morning, sent it out to customers, said, I know some of you were considering products. At the moment, obviously, they've got the gift with purchase shower gel and the free hand rub and free postage over £40. Right. And then I still had one customer who came back and said, is there a price threshold? Yes, read the message above. Of course, you can't say that. So we went through that again, but it will go up as a result of her wanting to save her £4 on postage. You know, so that nudge of free product can sometimes encourage people to focus their attention now, even if they didn't on the night.
And the 2 Zooms I did, orders were coming in a month later. Yeah. So people are getting there, but it's taking them. And I had one customer split it over 2 months. So she said, I want to order a couple of items this month and a couple of items next month.
Yeah.
So
it's worth like
just got to go with it.
People who, because that's what I'm not like. I don't like the hard sell, you know,
no.
I feel like
but if they've mentioned it, then it's worth saying,
selling.
I've got the order going in. Did you want me to add those products on, or do you want me to check with you next month?
Yeah, I agree with that, Cindy. And I think also, if you're busy having fun and doing what you're doing, and that's visual for your customers, you're subtly reminding them all the time of the nice time they had. Whereas if you disappear off the face of the earth, number one, it's much harder to make that connection again without being salesy. Number two, there have been no reminders. It's like there's a void. So yeah. Just to say 2 things. I'm going to come to you, Ruth, in a second, because I see you've got your hand raised. I don't think the rub has run out, because in the meeting this morning with the senior ambassadors, they were saying there was still high stock. What's probably happened is that the stock that's currently on the system has run out. And Donna is an amazing product fairy, Donna Toy, who works at the office, but she does need to be able to eat her dinner and have some time off in the evening. So you may well find that it's renewed tomorrow when she gets back to the office. Ruth, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think we really need to hone our skills on wrapping up online parties. I've realized it's a new skill, and there are things that happen intuitively face to face with people at a workshop or a party that don't happen intuitively in an online event. And it's about really working that out and learning that skill.
Absolutely. So on the Zoom that is on the 8th, that's called Getting Customers and Keeping Them, we are going to touch on some of those getting the result skills, so kind of selling skills or closing the deal. So definitely keep an eye out for that one, and obviously we'll record it as well.
I think the point is that sales don't just necessarily happen because we have showed product.
Yes, I agree.
There is a process thereafter.
Yeah, completely. Okay, right, ladies, we're going to wrap it up. It's 9:45. I hope it's been helpful. If you could just put into the chat your favourite tip or light on moment or aha moment or something, that would be great. Tell me what you're going to go away and do as a result of tonight. That would be amazing. And I'll see you all next week, but we've got a whole week of being excellent at our customer service to get through before then. Thanks. So please, thank you for your thank yous, but it would be great just for you to put your action points out. That would be great. I love your thank yous, but I love your action even more. Holly, please, let's lose the title of Drink Me Tags. I think I'm going to get into serious trouble for that. It's more the visual of Alice in Wonderland. It's very dangerously close to indefinite.
I like it. Just drink me, drink me, drink me. It makes sense in my head anyway, Charlotte.
Yeah, that's fine. So if you don't broadcast it, I don't mind.
I promise. I won't
Good.
tell everybody to drink any
No,
essential
you'll get
oils
into trouble
yet.
with legal. Please don't.
Yeah, no, I don't think I fancy doing that this week. Maybe next week, but not this
No,
week.
please don't. That's great. Thank you for all your chat contributions there, and good night. Sleep well. Thank you, Debbie. Bye. You all look like you're on a game show now.
Come on, Lee.
And tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be. Good night.
Yes, Jeannie, love it. Good night. Sleep well. See you tomorrow, Rose. Yeah, all the judges from the Muppets. That's so true. Bye, Sarah. Oh, that's a lovely quote from Hayley. Amazing things happen when you do something you love. That's so nice. Michelle, look at you all glammed up.
Well, I've just been teaching again. I was teaching tonight 5 classes a week at the moment.
Yeah, because you said you weren't going to be here. You made it.
Well, yes, I can't. I did Cressy's. I did teaching straight onto Cressy's and straight onto yours. So it's fab. Oh, thank you. It's busy at the moment. Who would have thought?
Amazing. Well done.
No, thanks. I just wondered if you posted the check. You probably did, but we were talking about post being bad, and it probably is on its way, I'm sure.
Do you know it isn't? And I'm so sorry. I thought of it today, and I thought there are 2 things I need to pay 2 people before I go to bed, so I'm going to do it now.
No, don't mind. Do it in the morning.
No, I'm going to do it tonight.
Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Okay,
Thank you for posting them. Bye.
Thanks.